On this episode of En Cama with Manny, esa señora le fue a reclamar a mi abuelita y pues mi abuelita se emperró porque ando repitiendo cosas que no tengo que andar repitiendo. I legitimately almost got into a physical fight. Casi a su esposa, casi la desvive. All right, everyone, and welcome to another episode of En Cama with Manny. El show donde hablamos sin filtros de la vida, pop culture y muchas cosas más. I'm your host Manny, your new internet bestie, your late night overshare buddy, and maybe your favorite new tóxico. So settle in, grab your cafecito, your glass of water, your naughty drink, and let's spill some tea. So, how's everyone doing? ¿Cómo la están pasando esta noche? I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm feeling very cozy, comfortable, rencoroso, and also lleno de muchas emociones que ni sé qué hacer con ellas. I'll be very honest with you guys. This month has been a roller coaster of a month, especially with the fact that my mom recently just got out of the hospital. A little context, she went to the hospital 3 times in a month because of her diabetes y pues por muchas cosas más que no se podrá contar. Pero we had a realization that my mom could have died these past 2 times. And not to be dark, pero pues I am very close to my mom. As you guys may know, she is my everything. And sadly, I never realized how bad it was until these past 2 times. And the reason why I say that is because the second time that my mom went to the hospital, ella me llamó básicamente a despedirse y me contó muchas cosas que no sé cómo procesar todo eso, pero básicamente me contó de su vida, lo que pasó con ella durante su niñez hasta este tiempo y honestamente ella pasó por muchas cosas tristes en esta vida y pues básicamente me dejó un testamento de lo que ella quiere que se haga después que ya no esté con nosotros. Y pues honestamente les voy a decir la verdad, me agüité and I just felt lost. And I don't speak for my mom or anything like that, but I can't imagine what she was going through. And honestly, this might sound like I'm not being emotional or sensitive about it, but it was a raw situation that we were going through. My mom told, like I said, confessed a lot of things and told me a bunch of things that I just don't know how to process. Pero pues, I'm the oldest in my family. And for those of you who are listening to this, who are also the oldest of a Mexican household, you guys know that as the oldest, we don't have the luxury of being emotional. We do not have the luxury of panicking over any situations that come across us in life because we always have to be the ones who are in the know of it all. We always have to be the ones who have the answers. We always have to be the ones who have to plan everything out and be there for people emotionally when we ourselves are being broken inside. And unfortunately, that was me. When my mom was in the hospital, I was an emotional wreck, pero I couldn't be emotional in front of my brothers or anyone else who was crying and being sad. I don't have that luxury. And I just went into what are we going to do? What are the next steps? How to be factual and how to be informative to everyone. Because for me, I don't care about how emotionally broken I am. I care about how are we going to get my mom out of this and how are we going to survive as a family. And I'll be very honest with you, as the person who basically is the resource of my family, I almost broke down in front of them because I didn't know what was going on. And sometimes I see myself as a little kid who needs his mom's protection at all times. And being put in that situation really made me feel like I was useless and weak. And unfortunately, I'm the type of person who believes that I don't have the luxury to be that. I have to be there for everyone and I have to make things work. And when I am weak and my mom is weak, the family will fall. Y honestamente, I just am very happy that my mom is out of the hospital. Y I just can't wait to spend more time with her and be with her and appreciate her more, especially with the seasons coming up. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas. Y también, pues, mi mamá nació en un diciembre, so we're gonna celebrate her birthday. And honestamente, I'll be very honest with you guys. I feel like I earned a shot or two or three. And honestamente, that time we're gonna spend with my mom is going to be very happy. We're gonna listen to some Jenny Rivera. Me voy a poner en modo la gran señora parandera rebelde y atrevida porque pues yo y mi mamá vamos a andar chismeando, riéndolos, contando cosas que pues nadie sabe y pues my mom and I, we're best friends, so el chisme se va a dar porque se va a dar. Which leads me to the topic of this week, which is chismes. Before we dive in this topic, I do have a question that I want to ask you guys. Why is gossip or chisme a topic we constantly look down on, yet secretly seek out? All right, everyone, let's get into the deep stuff tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about chisme, gossip for those who speak English, the thing we all pretend to hate secretly, but we live for it. My thesis is quite simple. We are in a society of hypocrites. We look down on people who gossip, but deep down, we all want to know the chisme. We're addicted to filling in the blanks. And to be quite honest, we all love un chisme de pueblo. Here's an example of a chisme de pueblo. So, for a little context, I grew up around very strong Hispanic Mexican women, which consisted of my grandma, my mother, and my tias, and a lot of ladies from the neighborhood. We grew up in a neighborhood that was a POC neighborhood, pero the ones who were very close were the Mexican families. We all knew each other. We all went to each other's events, like little fiestas and things like that. But there was this one time, my abuelita had a chisme. And since I was at that age where I was already learning Spanish and also I could communicate and was in kindergarten, I wanted to be with them a lot because at the end of the day, I was a little chismoso. So when I was in kindergarten, I was on my way home to my grandma's. When I got there, I overheard my grandma and other ladies having a conversation about una señora. Y ella estaba involucrada en un chisme donde ella era la protagonista de ese chisme. Lo que las malas lenguas estaban contando, y honestamente eso incluyó mi abuelita, era que esa señora había robado y pues básicamente la titularon como una ratera, pero esa señora no sabía. Y honestamente, así empiezan los chismes de pueblo. Uno dice una cosa y luego todo el mundo lo sabe. Y en ese neighborhood, unfortunately, everybody found out, pero nadie le dijo nada. So when I overheard it, I kept it in my memory, I guess. So the next day when I was in school, she approached me, la señora que les estaba contando, and she basically came up to me and said, Hola, muñe, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está tu mamá? And honestly, I will say this. This is what I remember telling her. No me hable porque mi mami dijo que usted es una ratera y que roba cosas. So I went home and I thought all was well until the next day. The next day after school, mi mamá me estaba esperando muy enojada y me regañó porque pues básicamente le dije a una señora enfrente de mucha gente en esa escuela que básicamente mi mami dijo que era una ratera. Y esa señora le fue a reclamar a mi mamá diciéndole que ella no es una ratera y básicamente le dijo que, pues le dijo llorando que yo dije eso enfrente de mucha gente y obviamente sí le dio vergüenza porque pues que te digan algo así enfrente de mucha gente y mucha gente pues como es muy hocicona siempre se pone a criticar y contarle a sus familias, a sus tíos y quién sabe qué cosa. So my mom told her, I never said anything like that. And are you sure he's talking about me? And it turned out that mi mami was not my mom. It was my otra mami, which was my abuelita. Y honestamente les voy a decir la verdad, se hizo un pedo grande porque pues esa señora le fue a reclamar a mi abuelita y pues mi abuelita se emperró porque pues porque ando repitiendo cosas que no tuvo que andar repitiendo y me dijo y me regañó a mí y a mi mamá y los dijo que básicamente a mí me dijo que no tengo que andar diciendo todo lo que está pasando en la casa, que no ande de chismoso y que ya no van a decir nada enfrente de mí porque pues yo era un chismoso y que me fuera a disculpar con la señora. Y honestamente, I'll tell you guys this. I did go and apologize because honestly, I just repeated what I heard. But that's an example of a little chisme de pueblo. Como dice la gente, Pueblo Chico Infierno Grande, which translates to small town, big hell. It describes a town where everyone knows each other, leading to intense gossip and conflict, making people feel like a big hell despite the small size. This expression is commonly used to highlight the often negative aspects of a close knit, isolated community. And I'll be very honest with you guys, that whole encounter with my mommy, which was my grandma and the lady who basically went and confronted her, really changed me in the way of spreading things that I should not be saying, especially when it came to my grandma, porque pues mi mamá, mi mami, o mi abuelita como la conocen, pues me enseñó una lección muy grande, me regañó bien feo, and I did feel bad because at the end of the day, that's a human being, and I also learned that there are things that you shouldn't say just because someone else said it. And honestly, it really made me feel bad with that lady because that lady ended up being one of the people who really influenced a part of my life, especially when I had my quinceaños. She was a very nice lady. She still is a very nice lady, and I hope she's doing well. And if she ever hears this, I hope that she can forgive me for what I said, porque pues yo era un niño y no sabía lo que estaba haciendo, y gracias a eso, pues creo que her reputation in that neighborhood was a little bit tarnished because of A, what my grandma and I said, and also B, with what the whole neighborhood was basically saying about her. Before we move on, I have a question for you. Were you ever a chismoso as a child? And if you were, what was the most important lesson you learned about repeating gossip when you were a child? Which leads me to my second point, which is a reputation killer. The fun and games, and when the chisme stops being about a person you know and it starts being about you. I know this personally because the last ex best friend I had started a complete false rumor designed to make people dislike me. This wasn't just whispers, this was a targeted attack that spread like wildfire. And I'll be very honest with you, I had people looking at me sideways after that situation. And it created so much misunderstanding that I legitimately almost got into a physical fight. And by that, I mean, I almost got jumped because A, I don't know how to fight and I'm not a person who likes to fight. But it was all because someone decided to weaponize chisme. That's the real danger. It ruins reputations, it creates versions of the truth that simply do not exist. Imagínate, me with a black eye. No. But I'll be honest, chismes de pueblos are very dangerous and can affect someone's life. For example, I knew this lady who had three children with the same guy. And also, during that time that she had her kids, they were basically teenagers. Y pues they were of different skin tones. And no se parecía nada al papá. Y básicamente hubo mucha gente que dijo que esa señora se acostó con otra persona y que como saben que esos hijos son de ese señor. Y honestamente casi ese señor, por tanto escuchar esos chismes y lo que dirán y todo eso, casi a su esposa, casi la desvive. Y esos tipos de chismes no son buenos, ni son aceptables, ni deberían ser aceptables porque pues ponen la vida de una persona en riesgo. Y thanks to chismes like that, you get cases where the husband goes crazy because he believed in all those chismes, which I'll be very honest, sometimes are true, but in that time and that situation, all those kids were his biologically, or they were his children. Y pues, tristemente se separaron. And that's the power of chisme. It really can affect how you and your family are or are living in because they were a good family, but because of those chismes and because of the insecurity of that man, he basically ruined that whole family. The pueblo basically killed that beautiful family and se separaron y pues honestamente el señor pues se volvió alcohólico y la señora con sus hijos pues se fueron y pues ellos ya tienen una vida separada y ya están bien, pero pues that's how bad chisme can affect someone's life. Y honestamente, I do wonder if it wasn't for that situation with the chisme, would they still be together? Maybe, but unfortunately, we will never know. But on a lighter note, we do end up going to chisme que es festivo, chisme personal y cosas así como un chismecito de, oh, esta señora hizo esto, esta señora hizo lo otro. Pues honestamente, at the end of the day, we're all chismosos. We all gossip about a lot of things. And sometimes if el chisme is just lighthearted chisme within the family, with whatever it is that you guys are talking about, it's really not that harmful in a way, porque pues it's just between a certain group, and also if you guys are close, that chisme never really escapes the outside world, I want to say, and I want to call it like that, porque pues if you are in a safe space and if it's just lighthearted chisme, chisme básicamente de fiestas como de bodas y todas esas cosas, pues in a way se pueden pasar. I mean, we're all chismosos at heart, and I will say this, even though I just mentioned something unfortunate that happened, pero sometimes chisme is just a little bit good for the soul because, in a way, we're all chismosos. Hasta los que se creen que no son chismosos y son perfectos. Oh, ay, ustedes son los más chismosos, no se hagan. Pero pues, as long as the chisme does not hurt or affect someone's lifestyle and how they're living, it's all good. Pero honestamente, a veces la gente se pasa de lanza. Yo no entiendo cómo pueden causar tantas tragedias con con un simple ataque a la otra persona que es una homewrecker que básicamente le está llamando una zorra o cosas así, Cuando hay gente así me da cierto asco porque ¿cómo tienes un corazón de decir ciertas cosas de una persona sin que sean realidad y ser la razón o el responsable de que algo trágico le llegue a pasar a esa persona? Eso siempre me ha dado asco en gente y honestamente me llega muy cercano a casa porque pues muchas cosas han pasado y muchos rumores y chismes se han dado de pues también de mi familia, los que yo quiero mucho, amigos también que pues tristemente no son verdad, y para callar un chisme o para básicamente probar cosas así, it's very hard to, because you can't basically shut off rumors because someone already planted a seed. And it's just sad because I've seen reputations, I've seen jobs, I've seen people's personal life be affected by chismes. And if you're the type of person that does spread chismes just to do it, to be mischievous and affect someone's living, I will honestly tell you that you disgust me as a person, because I understand the difference between chisme en la casa, chisme in weddings, or just little gossips. I understand those because they're not affecting anyone. It's just little gossip. But when you take it to extremes like that, you're very messed up in your mind, and you really do need to get checked, because that means you're a disgusting person and you honestly should be on a watch list, I'll be honest. And I'll be very honest with you guys, I did want to send out a prompt for this episode because it is about chismes, pero pues I'll be honest, I'm gonna make a part two of this. Um, I do not have a big audience as of yet, as you guys may obviously can tell because of the views. But I just wanted to touch on that because chismes have always made us into curious individuals who just want to be entertained, because at the end of the day, chisme is just entertainment, whether it's about a celebrity or someone you see on the daily basis. It's entertainment. It's a way for us to keep distracted from the sad reality that some of us live through, or just be entertained. But as a society, we need to figure out and need to learn how to differentiate fantasy from reality. And I think that's basically my tip and advice for people. Learn how to hear the chisme, yes, but also don't make your own conclusions right away because, like I said, a chisme, gossip, it all is just a rumor. All right, everyone. So we are at the moment where we do have to say goodbye. And I'll be very honest with you guys. I did want this to be a user prompt responded episode, but unfortunately, I did not plan this out. So there will be a part two of this episode. But I just wanted to leave you this little message, which is we have to be mindful of the impact of el chisme. It is part of the culture, of course it is. But the key is knowing the difference between venting and destroying someone. This is heavy stuff. And I have a question for you guys. How has chisme affected your life? Have you ever been the victim or the one spilling the tea? Please leave a comment in the comment section and I will read them, and I promise I will respond to as many as I can because I also am a little chismoso and would like to know. All right, everyone, that would be it for today's episode. Muchas gracias por escuchar este episodio de En Cama with Manny. If you liked hanging out conmigo, please give this episode a like, share it with your bestie, y claro, suscríbete so you don't miss our next chisme session. And remember that el chisme does not stop there. Follow me at my Instagram at Eric Diamandis, at ARICKDIAMANDIS, where I will be posting a new prompt for new episodes. And remember that the extended uncensored version is available on Spotify, and the video version is exclusively available on YouTube. Love you guys. Hasta la próxima.